Travel is more than just ticking off countries. It's about the people, the culture, the food, the moments. I'm Pippa Hudson, and on Wonder the World, I invite you to join me every week as we explore destinations both near and far, with the help of fellow adventurers who share their unique travel stories. Listen to my podcast wherever you get them.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 9 o'clock, Dumelang, welcome to the Thursday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. It's great to have you with us here on 702. Thank you for joining us. We always love being in your company. I hope you're good this morning. The 702 open line starts now on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. What do you make of the changes in the MK party? Mzwanele Manyi now removed as the chief whip, replaced by Colleen Makhubela. The MK party says she'll take over from Manyi, who has served the party with distinction. That's what they said. But if he served the party with distinction and he's been so exceptional, why remove him? Because it's not like they're redeploying him. The MK party says his contribution has been instrumental in laying a firm foundation for the party's parliamentary presence and advancing the party's agenda during that pivotal time after the elections. So they're looking forward to his continued role in supporting the party's broader objectives. This is according to the statement the party released yesterday after there have been a number of reports about this potential move. So the MK party says Makhubela brings to this role a wealth of experience. She brings strategic leadership and a deep commitment. But we saw this coming, didn't we? I remember saying to you on air, when Colleen Makhubela was sworn in as a member of parliament in the MK party, I said on air that watch out for this woman. Watch out for her, because I was already hearing rumors when we were in parliament, when we were there in Cape Town for the State of the Nation address. I had a chat with a number of MK party members of parliament, and they were like, this woman is going to come in here and Mzwanele Manyi will move aside. And apparently he himself was threatened when she came through. So he's now been removed. We are told that he's just going to continue contributing to the party, the party's broader objectives, whatever that means. So maybe what I'll do is bring in Colleen or maybe Mzwanele Manyi before we wrap up the 702 open line this morning. Something else that I would like to get your thoughts on this morning. It actually reminded me of what happened between the French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife. Happened a couple of days ago. You may have seen the video making its rounds. Remember, if you missed it, Macron was caught on camera getting shoved in the face by his wife, Brigitte, during a landing in Hanoi on Sunday. And he looked so surprised, but quickly smiled and waved, saying that, they were just joking around. Well, there have been so many explanations of that video, because initially the French government denied that it exists, and then there were all different explanations that came forth. I witnessed something yesterday that actually reminded me of that video, where a couple said up front before a meeting that they had an argument and apologized for any awkwardness that may arise from that meeting. And I thought, that's interesting. Like, did we need to know that? And maybe we did need to know, because otherwise we were going to pick up some awkwardness. You're going to make statements that were probably not going to be funny, because we didn't get the context, people are fighting. And I wonder if you have ever been in a dispute with your spouse or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner, and you either had to pretend in front of other people that things are fine, or like this couple yesterday, you were honest about it. Or are you a type of person that just pretends to be on good terms with your partner in front of other people, maybe in front of your kids? Oh, I can only imagine how complicated it gets if you have children. How do you guys navigate instances where there's a dispute and there are children? Because you can't fool children as well. Huh? I was asking Amu earlier on, like, you've got kids. How do you deal with that? And he says, well, you can't fool kids. Kids sometimes can see what's going on. So you keep the relationship and everything else going, and you fix things as you go along. So how do you deal with it, right? Do you, sometimes imagine you're hosting people. You're hosting people, and just 5 minutes before they arrive, the friends and family, you have a huge argument with your partner. What do? You can't cancel it that last minute. So do you just let them come in, and do you explain to them that we've had a bit of an issue, or do you just let it be? Because now it's awkward. People are being hosted by this couple that's not talking to each other. Now the kids can see that, mommy and daddy are sitting here. They're not even talking to each other. Mommy didn't kiss daddy after work today. They didn't utter a word to each other. Do you explain to the kids what goes on? Or do you just move along? And the kids will figure it out themselves. Let me know your thoughts on 011-883-0702. Or maybe you're like this couple yesterday. You are a type of couple that actually says it up front. And you say, this is what's just happened, so deal with it. Or please be aware that things are going to be awkward. But as you grow older, one of the things I've learned is that the relationship has got to continue. Doesn't matter that you've had an argument. And of course, it depends on what the argument is about. There are some issues that are just so fundamental that it's just difficult to even continue the relationship. But as you grow older, you realize that arguments are always going to happen. Bickering, a dispute, those are things that you deal with in any relationship, in any marriage. It's normal to differ on things. It's normal to not be happy with each other in some instances. And you learn that, but the relationship must continue. If you guys had dinner on a Friday, that dinner is not being cancelled. If you guys had a walk, you were supposed to do some ice cream walk in Parkhurst on a Sunday evening, that has got to continue. And those are the things that you learn as you go along. How do you deal with these issues? What's your experience? What's your expectations? 011-883-0702 is the number to dial.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
Let's go to, is it Gessen in Lombardy East? Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Yes, my name is Gessen.
Sure.
I just wanted to comment about what you had indicated about the difference between the couples.
Yeah.
One day I thought that, I had enough about my wife, then I'm going to share that with my daughter in order actually to gain a favor towards my side. But, after when I relayed the story to her, she said, Daddy, are you upset about my mama? I said, yes. And she said, but why don't you divorce her?
Did he say that to you?
Yeah.
How old is she?
Yeah, because she said, no, he was, I think she was at 28. 28.
Okay.
So she said to me, Daddy, she's oftenly doing that. I say, yes, and I'm so upset about it. So she said, no, if she's continuously doing that, why don't you divorce her, Daddy?
What did you say?
And I was not expecting that. I was cross, I was embarrassed, then I never go to the children any longer anymore when you had difference. I said, no.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if her mom went to her as well. What her advice was to the mom. Guess in Lamari East. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Lee, you're calling from Pretoria. Good morning.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to make the point that, of course, it's inevitable that you're going to fight in front of your children. But I think the important thing is to also resolve that argument in front of them. So that's I think, a very worthwhile skill. You don't have to throw your toys. You don't have to be inappropriate. If you can keep it, calm and connected and still resolve it, I think that the children learn a valuable skill.
And sometimes, though, Lee, some of those arguments take longer. So, yes, you've had an argument with your partner, and yes, it will be resolved, but it's taking 2 days or 3 days. What is being, the kids can see something is wrong. So, must we talk to them about it or just go along?
I think that the important thing is to just try and be reasonable. If you act out and you behave childishly, then obviously you're not emotionally equipped enough to turn this into a lesson for your children. But if you can just try and remember that they are learning, whether you're being inappropriate or not, they are learning how to cope with situations in their lives. And so if you just try and remember that and try and edit yourself, I think that's the best you can do.
Yeah.
3 days is, really pushing it for any disagreement.
Yeah. Lee, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Here are some of the WhatsApp voice notes that have come through.
Hi, Clement. Good question. My belief is a good relationship is like a good political party. You show a united front in public and you resolve your differences in private. Thank you.
Hi, Clement. Hope you're good. When it comes to arguing in front of my children, I remember having this conversation with my woman that we don't have to pretend like everything is okay, everything is perfect. They need to know that we sometimes disagree on other things and we fix them. So we need to show them love in the house as much as we argue about basic things, but it also depends on what we're arguing about. For example, if it's like dishes, why did you put your socks there, the toilets, all those small disputes and arguments, we can just talk about them even in front of the kids and not agree, and also show them that we love each other at some point and stuff. But when it comes to serious things, like let's say maybe issue of finances and issue of, like, let's say maybe there's cheating, I'm making an example, we can't argue about that in front of the kids. We can't. But basic things, they need to know that mommy and dad, they do disagree sometimes. And it's normal. It's just, that's just how life it is. As much as I argue with you kids, it also happens with your mom and myself and that, so that they don't think this is a perfect world. I've never seen my mom and dad arguing and all that. Yeah, but this is Anonymous from Pretoria.
Yeah, thank you for that, Anonymous. Yeah, I think kids do need to know that their mommy and daddy are not always going to agree. The other voice note was speaking about, putting up a united front in public. You can argue behind the scenes, but put up a united front in public. And I guess that's exactly what some couples are doing. So the couple yesterday said, well, we're just going to be upfront and tell you that we've had a very serious argument. We're not in a good space, because they just didn't want people just asking themselves questions about, what's happening here? Because people can pick that up. They can pick that up. So how do you deal with it? Do you find it difficult to put up a united front, whether it's in front of your kids, maybe it's in front of your in-laws? Like, imagine a big fight, and then you guys are leaving that morning to go to your in-laws. How do you deal with that? Give us a call or send us your WhatsApp voice notes. It's 24 after 9.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
Hey, morning, Clement. It's Papa here from Lenasia. Clement, the problem with Mhlekazi, Mzwanele Manyi, akafundi, he doesn't learn. Last time they throw him under the bus, lying to us, Tenge ANN7, while they know what they are lying. and waza nje phaa ku-public to confirm ukuthi vele he bought that TV station. Imagine now bamsebenzisile, he was all over what is this X or Twitter defending umsholozi. Ya usofunda kancane bayenze kahle ukuthi bamxoshe papa here from Lenesia.
Yeah, but he's not fired from the party, guys. The MK party has just made changes, which is what it has been doing, as a new party over the last couple of months. And yes, maybe there are many changes that have come with secretary generals, etc., etc. But he's still very much the member of the MK party. So it's just a change in the positions. In fact, we've got him on the line now. Mzwanele Manyi, thank you for your time. Good morning.
Hi there, Clement, and good morning to your listeners.
Yeah, so you're no longer gonna be the chief whip in Parliament. What happened?
Firstly, let me just explain the two concepts. There is something called deployment versus something called employment. The two are not the same. With deployment, you live on a day-to-day. With employment, you've got a contract and all of that. That's what happens. With deployment, if you are in the political space, you are in deployment, what you should understand is that you are in the service of the party. You are not in the service of your career. You are not in the service of anything else. You are in the service of the party. The party takes a helicopter view. Perhaps the other way of looking at it is look at the chessboard. The party is playing a chessboard situation. So all the pieces in the chessboard must move at some point and all of that. And so all to ensure that you win the game and all of that. So you cannot be that if you are a piece in the chessboard, you want to just stay there and nothing must happen to you. Yeah. So we in the political space sign up for this. So I'm losing no sleep over this because it is in the interest of the party. And as you point out, I still continue to be a very loyal member of the MK party. I continue to be in the National Assembly. I will continue to make my impact in the various committees and all of that. All of this, the party is looking at it with a hawk's eye, just to say what works for the party. It's all about what works for the party.
Yeah. So what does this say then about your tenure as chief whip? Was the party not happy with your performance?
No, if that was the case, I would have had those kinds of discussions. There was no such a discussion. It's a political discussion. It's a political maneuver, this. I think with the fullness of time, you'll probably see where it's headed. But it's really just a political maneuver that at this point in time, it's a political decision. It's not a performance-related decision at all. If it was a performance decision, as an example, there would have been all kinds of discussion I would have had with the SG, some serious discussions. Nobody here, with all the people that are leaking information, can leak to you that I was ever put on the red carpet in terms of performance.
But I've spoken to some members of parliament in the MK party who said they're unhappy with your leadership.
Yeah,
people that have said that.
It's okay. People have got their various perspectives and so on. And within a year of working with people that you otherwise didn't know, there is bound to be all those kinds of, storming phase, and all of that. So that is a normal process anywhere you go. There's never going to be a smooth sailing for anyone for that matter. So that is just the name of the game. So if you've heard those things, there are probably there's probably some element of reality in that because it's probably the storming phase.
So what would be your advice for Colleen Makubela as she comes in? The MK party says you are now going to continue playing your role in supporting the party's broader objectives. She takes charge now. What's your advice for her?
No. I think the chief whip runs the operations of Parliament, and that's really all that she has to do. Parliament has got rules and so on. So she just, the very first thing, obviously, is to acquaint herself with all the rules of Parliament and be able to guide caucus in terms of the rules. And that's actually sometimes the problem with the rules of parliament and point of order. What is point of order? You see, if you come, let's say, for instance, if you come from the various organizations where you come from, when someone says something that you don't particularly like, you raise a point of order. Whereas in parliament, a point of order is something different. It just means what you are doing or what you are saying is not in line with a particular rule as it was. So that's what constitutes a point of order. So it's those kinds of things. And Colleen is a bright person. She's been reading this, and I'm sure she's aware of this. And she's not a newcomer in the game. And I really think that she'll do extremely well. She's got energy, she's got articulation and all of that. So I think Colleen will do very well.
Okay. And we're not going to see you moving to another party anytime soon, yeah?
No.
Pela, we know you, Mzwanele.
No. MK Party, let me tell you, MK Party is the future. It's the last hope for the people of South Africa.
So this is the last party for you?
No, I'm moving nowhere. Trust me. These moves that MK is making, it's not instability. Call it is repositioning. It's getting ready. You must remember, this is going to be a government in waiting. So we are a government in waiting. So as a government in waiting, at any given point in time, you are shaping and shaping and preparing and fine-tuning here and fine-tuning there. So all of those things is because actually this is quite imminent. It's quite imminent. You see, with as an example, with this budget story, people of South Africa don't know this, that the South African Parliament is actually facing dissolution. Anything, you miss 1 or 2 days with these tight timelines to the end of July, a dissolution of parliament is possible. So as MK Party, we are gearing for that. We think that it's not impossible for this government to collapse in end of July. So those are the things that are worrying us, and this is why we have to keep changing and positioning ourselves to make sure that when that happens, we are ready.
All right, Mzwanele, got you. Thank you so much for chatting to us, and all the best with what you will be doing now in the MK Party, contributing, as the party says, broadly to the party's objectives. I really appreciate your time. Mzwanele Manyi, the former MK Party chief whip, he says it's political maneuvering and not so much anything that has to do with his lack of performance as a chief whip in the MK Party. Do you buy that? It's 9:33.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 22 minutes before 10 o'clock. On the 702 open line this morning, I've been asking you about disputes and bickering as a couple, as you and your spouse, you and your girlfriend, boyfriend, partner. How do you deal with that when you still have to be with people? When you are hosting people, they're coming to your house and you have a big argument, do you cancel? Do you tell them? Or do you just let it go and continue and you're going to fix it as you go along? How do you deal with it in front of the kids? I gave an example of a couple who came to a meeting and said, we had an argument before this meeting, so please don't be surprised if there's awkwardness. And some people say, maybe that's the right way to do it. Be upfront. Are you also upfront to your kids? I mean, if you've got issues with your partner the whole week, for instance, and you live together, what are you saying to the kids? Because they can sense the energy. They see mommy and daddy are not talking to each other. Do you talk to them? What do you do? We've just spoken to Mzwanele Manyi a few minutes ago, who's been removed as the chief whip for the MK Party. And he says it's not because he failed to perform. He says it's not because he failed in that role. He says it's political maneuvering, quote unquote, by the MK Party, and apparently we'll soon see why the changes were made. What are your thoughts on what has just transpired with these changes in the MK Party?
Good morning, Clement. Whether in deployment or in employment, as Manyi is saying, the only time when you can remove a person on a position is when those people are becoming incompetent on their position. And at this stage, maybe the MK Party noticed that this guy is becoming an incompetent chief whip. That's why they removed him to just being an ordinary member, a political opportunistic. Join Pretoria.
Clemmy, morning man. Flores here from the Western Cape. Clemmy, Manji is a political grasshopper. That guy doesn't know where he is, and I've never liked his style. And I still remember him saying that colored people need to move to Limpopo if they want to get jobs as wardens. So, yeah, serves him right. So he must really think hard of his political career, where he's going to move next. Have a good show, bye-bye.
I, Clement, Mzwanele must just accept that he is the weakest link. That's why they moved him. Babone uthi uMakhubele is stronger than him. He's weak. That's why he moved him. He must just stay as a backbencher in the party. Thank you, Clement. Mandlen Pinoni.
Sure, Tlemza, Olisi Emamelodi. I don't know if Mzwanele was incompetent or competent, but I believe Uguti Ukulin as a chief whip would be a better brand ambassador for the MK than Mzwanele ever could be. That's just my thinking. Thank you.
Yeah, I have no doubt. I mean, Colleen is quite a vibrant politician. And she's quite strategic. I mean, Colleen Makhubela could see that her party is not going any. What was that party? What was Rise? What was it? Rins. Sarah. I knew there was an S somewhere and an R. Okay, Sarah. What does it even stand for? Oh, South African rate? Rainbow. South African Rainbow Alliance. Okay, anyway. She was with Sarah. Remember, she left Cope and then Sarah and then all of that. And then when she realized that Sarah is actually not going to do well, I remember we were at the elections results center and I remember her walking on stage for a media briefing with President Cyril President Jacob Zuma, the former president. And she got on stage and she was so humble to Ubaba. She said, "Oh, Baba, Baba is leading us. Ubaba, oh, Baba. Baba is leading us here, giving us good leadership." And I remember me and Sidi at the results center were like, that's it. That's a woman who knows how to secure the bag. Right there. She was already positioning herself. She was. And that's how political strategic she is. A queen who knows how to secure her bag. Oh, she was babaring Zuma there. And then fast forward, and then we started hearing rumors. People were telling us that she's having conversations with the MK party. She wants to come over. Fast forward months later, she made it into the party. She made it to parliament. Now she's the chief whip. What's next? Hey? 17 minutes before 10.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Mimi, you're calling us from Hyde Park. Good morning.
And I got the other side of the couple argument. We were invited to dinner at some friends, and you could sense the tension through the dinner. So you kind of knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
And then, of course, everybody left to go home, and it was one of those garage door openings where everybody was leaving, except I forgot my scarf in the house. So my husband and I went back in, at which point the full-blown argument was on. The expletives were there so much, so it was so embarrassing. And now we needed to get out because the garage door had automatically shut.
Oh.
And so we stood in the garden because, and I said to him, "Where's the remote? Find the remote, find the button, get it." And we couldn't find it. So eventually we just waited in the garden, and then the host came out to get the garden furniture to bring inside and saw us standing there.
Oh my God. Did they explain anything to you guys?
Nothing.
Pretended like nothing happened.
It's like, "Oh, you're still here." And I'm like, "We're still here." At which point she said, let me let you out. And nothing was ever spoken or discussed. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Say, we've never accepted another dinner invitation
again. Yeah, that gets awkward. Yeah, Mimi, thank you for sharing that with us. It gets awkward, but also, guys, it's normal. People, I mean, do you know of any relationship where people don't fight? Huh? Where people don't argue, where people don't differ, where tensions are not going to be high and we're going to raise our voices, sometimes at each other here and there. Yeah, that's the nature of relationships. I don't know, maybe you guys are in other relationships that are just so smooth and never had an argument, never disagreed, but I don't know if that's really what an average person goes through. So how do we, there's so many things that we actually do not normalize. In fact, as the human race, as a society, we don't normalize feeling sad. We think life is about happiness. We think life is about you waking up and being happy because you've got a beautiful job, you've got a beautiful family, you are in love, No, that's not life. Life is also about sadness. Life is about disappointment. Life is about big celebrations. Life is about so much more than you being happy every day. But we have come to embrace this one aspect of life as a way of life. And then your self-help books as well, that you read tell you that this is it. But there's so much about life that we must embrace. When you are waking up in the morning, you're feeling a little sad, we already jump to want to diagnose ourselves with depression. You just woke up, you're just feeling sad today. Or you're feeling sad because you've just had you've just had a fight, or you've just been disappointed by something. Already we call it depression. You diagnose yourself because we think it's not normal for us to be disappointed and to feel sad or to feel pain. That's part of life. And I think even with relationships, we must normalize that there are going to be fights. There are going to be points of disagreements. There are going to be disappointments. You are going to feel like, oh, I don't like this guy. I don't like this woman. So, yeah, ish happens in relationships. Let's just get used to that. And maybe life is going to be much, much better when we realize that this life, this human experience, it's so multifaceted. Hey?
Good morning, Clement. With my daughter, whenever she would notice that there's something off between me and my wife, she will hold my hand and lead me to her mom, and also hold her hand and make us to hold hands and leave us together holding hands to sort it out. Even when we are in our best behavior, me and my wife, she will come between us and start claiming that I'm her father. My mother should just walk away.
Good morning, Abud Clement and Rupalan here from Brett's Great Show as always. Us, we just act normal. We just act normal in front of the kids. But when we get to the bedroom, that's when zikala corner lapha that side. And then when we are hosting people, or maybe it could be that our families are visiting us or friends, depend whom we will be hosting, we just act normal, like everything is normal, and they will never pick up that we are fighting. We'll even laugh like, yeah, everything is normal. But when they are gone, then in the bedroom, then that's when now, the problems start there. Thank you.
Oh, so then you guys fight then in like you'll have your argument in the bedroom. But I don't know, because also it's very difficult to pretend, isn't it? It's very difficult to pretend like in front of people. Now we must be all lovey-dovey. Are we holding hands? Are we kissing? Are we hugging in front of people? Knowing that after this, ziyakhala. Yeah, I don't know. Floyd, you are in Bramfontein. Hi.
How are you, Clement?
Hey, Sada.
No, I think I've been in a relationship for 16 years and been married for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
We've never fought. We've never broken up in the 16 years. I think also in the early stages of the relationship, we established some rules. I was raised by a mother that is very loud, that shouts for everything. And so I hate shouting. I hate fighting. I hate conflict. So I needed her to understand if we have a disagreement, let's calm down and let's find a solution. But if we are shouting, we're not getting to.
Okay, but you do have disagreements.
We do have disagreements. There's no way there are no disagreements.
Okay.
But we've just found a way so that it's done in peace, and that it's about a resolution. It's not about shouting at each other in a back and forth. It's about okay, where are we getting to? Well, how are we resolving this? That is the big things. Yes, Clement.
All right,
so,
Floyd. Yeah.
It's a very peaceful relationship. It's a very peaceful relationship. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, okay. Floyd, okay, I don't know what medicine you've taken. Maybe share it with other people who are seeing flames in relationships. Yeah, maybe you should say that Floyd in Braamfontein has been in a peaceful relationship for 16 years. Is it Isara in Joburg? Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. No,
Hi.
it's Ishara.
Ishara, go ahead.
Yeah, I love your topic. Listen, there is no perfect marriage without any argument, but there is perfect love. Well, being married for 44 years, me and my husband argue, and these days we argue. We argue where we really look at each other with those big eyes, but within half an hour, it's gone. And the love is so strong, it's overpowering the anger, the arguments. And when the kids were little, I remember we never used to speak to each other. You know, you're young, you're restless. And the kids used to know. So lucky we had a lot of kids. So we used to tell the kids, go tell Dad food is ready. Go tell Dad this. And at one stage, as the kids were growing, they say, hey, Mom, we're tired now, man. Go tell Dad yourself. Or Dad, go tell Mom yourself. And we also learn with our kids growing up and things like that. And we also realize, thank God, at a very early stage, not to argue or let the children see that we are not speaking to each other, because it could affect their relationship as they grow older, you know. And now that our kids are married, we've got grandkids, and the grandkids love when we argue in front of them, because they said we are the cutest, because the way we argue, we're not swearing at each other, but you know, we can yell, we can scream, and we can say, I told you so, and you know, things like that. And if we look at each other like, you know, now we're going to flame, we're going to fire each other. But at the end of the day, like I said, our love really, honestly, overpower in our lives. And I am so grateful that I have met someone, and he said, or 2 days will go by where he tell me that, you know, he's glad that God put us together because we are meant for each other.
Oh, that's amazing. Ishara, thank you so much for calling us in Johannesburg. And I mean, guys, and I know we're talking here about some light arguments, but let's be honest. Can we be honest? There are cases where the fight is real. And I'm not talking about fight is real because it's physical or you're shouting at each other. Like something significant has happened. Like there's a fundamental disagreement that may even threaten the very existence of that marriage or relationship. Huh? How do you deal with that? Someone said that there was a time they didn't, on Twitter, that someone said that there's a time he didn't speak to his wife for a week. And the kids could see that, and they didn't say anything to the kids. Some things are really deep. So as a woman, as a girlfriend or wife, you are in pain because you've been betrayed. Or maybe as a man, you are the one that's been betrayed or that's been disappointed to the point that you're considering whether to stay or leave. What do you do in that instance? You know, some people will, you know, husband or wife, or if you've got resources for that, will go stay at a hotel or stay at a friend's house to avoid a toxic situation in the household with the kids. Sometimes it gets serious like that.
Clem, Tato here. Clem, kids can pick up bad vibes, energy, and we are not okays very fast. So if you're a parent thinking that you can keep it away from the kids, they can pick up that you're not okay. So I'm an advocate for have honest and open relations with your kids and with the other people that you relate to. If I'm not okay, I'll tell my kids that I'm not 100% today. It doesn't mean I'm inaccessible, but just helps everyone manage their expectations. That days my 16-year-old daughter is not in the mood for hugs, kisses, and affection because I'm a very affectionate kind of person. And she will alert me in advance that I'm not feeling 100% today, and I know how to navigate about it, and I know how to adjust my love language towards her based on how she says she feels that day. And I think the sooner we can be honest with everyone around us about how we're feeling, the smoother life could actually be, you know?
Yeah. And again, and you're right, Hato. Life then becomes smooth because now we are hiding so much unnecessarily. You're hiding that you're feeling sad. You're hiding that you're not okay because we always want to show up with smile. We're smiling and everything is amazing. That's not how life is. And I worry that we put too much pressure on ourselves. I think we do. And maybe that's why we get so depressed sometimes, because we expect that life must be it must just be beautiful. Hunky-dory, smiles all times, I'm happy, I'm in love. That's not how it works. Hey?
Hi, Clement Manyathela from Sunnyside, Pretoria. You are quite right. There is a saying that says, if two people agree on everything, one of them is not thinking. And another Jewish idiom says, put two Jews in a room, they'll come out with three opinions. We always have arguments and fights, but that must be part of the package of growing up as human beings. Thank you.
Hello, Clement. Good show. Mapari here from Rediport. I believe that one where you pretend and then after that you Ziakala in the bedroom is one of the best moments because it's difficult for you now to say something you don't mean because of the heat of the moment. So now you are busy laughing, you're busy thinking Ryman. This is a color afterwards. But then you arrive there with a different attitude or mentality to say, this thing that we are fighting about, it's a small thing. Before Scala, sometimes you can just say, baby, sorry man, sorry, it's my fault. And then you appeal, other than just getting on it by the heat of the moment. That's good. That always works.